This bit of a come down here, but I guess better that than taking a chance with the wet field and all that. And
Yeah, I mean, I know they didn't want to put the team into position at any point in time. I mean, these guys are very valuable and next in the line to get called up. So, I mean, I wasn't going to put myself in that situation. I know that these guys weren't going to try to put themselves in this situation either. And, this stuff happens, and you can't really tell Mother Nature not to do anything that you don't want it to do. And so I got some work in, and we were going to try to play it by ear for tomorrow, but more than likely it's going to be raining again. So I think the plan now is Rome on Monday night. So
Okay, yeah, that's what I was
that
going to
was
ask.
a big question.
yeah. So I wanted to get, I just want to get those competitive juices flowing again. And although I'm ready to go physically, I still want to get out there and face some live competition. So that's the plan right now, and hopefully the weather cooperates on
Right.
Monday.
Obviously, it got out there that you've been simulating every 5 days. But what was kind of the hardest part of the challenges of being out of competitive baseball for so long, and how keeping yourself MLB ready?
Well, I don't know if you can keep yourself MLB ready, but I was trying to be as physically active as I usually do during the regular season, and it was kind of my own regular season for the last 3 months, and I know myself well enough to know that, hey, I need to do this or do that to get myself ready, and just the last step is kind of getting that adrenaline pump, and so hopefully I'll get that on Monday, and then we'll see where we're at. But at this point in time, I've been through the grind enough to know what exactly I need to do to get ready, and
Speaking of Monday, have they come up with a plan, like 5 or 6 innings, a certain amount of pitches? You got any idea how they're going to?
Yeah, so the plan Monday is 5-6 innings, 75 to 90 pitches. We're going to play it by ear, though. I mean, if I need to get some more or a little bit less, then we'll do that. But the plan is 5-6 innings and regular go, and until I say otherwise or
Right.
The scoreboard says otherwise. So.
Obviously, your free agency was a long, drawn-out process. But what kind of, and you've probably already talked about this a little bit already, what kind of stood out about the Braves over teams maybe like New York or something like that, this is the place where you wanted to be?
Well, I mean, the first factor is the competitiveness of the team,
Right.
and making the playoffs last year was a great sign for their young ball club with quite a few rookies involved in the process, and then you got a few more rookies this year. If you want to be a great organization and compete for a number of years like the Braves did in the 90s and
Sure.
early 2000s, you need that. You need consecutive rookies helping out with very competitive veteran guys to kind of lead the ship as well. So that's what they have. Now, obviously, I would have liked a multi-year deal, but at the same time, it was a very fair deal in terms of negotiations where we were at in terms of not a prorated salary, but a yearly salary. If we were to play it out, it would have been right in the ballpark that my stats back up to say I was worth. And Alex was great in talking with Scott, my agent, of trying to get something done. I mean, there was interest back and forth for a number of months, but when you break it down, there was just a mutual interest, and we finally got it done, even though it took a little bit longer.
Sure. And you mentioned being a veteran, obviously having the experience that you do. But from your perspective, obviously, the team has theirs. But from your perspective, what do you think, you bring in terms of value? Maybe just not just veteran, but also in terms of just baseball also.
Yeah, I mean, you can bring all sorts of things to the team. Hopefully, I'd like to think that I bring more good than bad. But being with McCann, I mean, he's kind of on a similar page as me. I mean,
Sure.
Very, very fiery, competitive guys. We don't always show our emotions. That's just not me. Maybe I'll show it every once in a while. Some people like to say that I'm dull on the mound, which I'm fine with. But inside there's a burning competitive edge. I want to be the guy out there that the guys lean on, and hopefully at the end of the season, there's 5 guys that the team wants to lean on, and that's the mentality that I'm going to bring to the team, and we'll see where it goes.
Speaking of McCann, since you brought him in, grew up around here. I don't know if you spoke to him at all during the off season, but how much of an influence how much did that influence your decision, knowing that you've worked with him before and had a good rapport with him?
Well, if you're not talking with Brian McCann, you're not a good person. So he's one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet, and already a Braves legend. But he kind of filled me in of what was going on over here. He didn't really have to pitch me too much, just because anybody with a good eye can tell how talented and competitive this team can be and is. But having him behind the plate along with Tyler Flowers, I mean, those two guys are two of the best at what they do, and whenever I get up there, they're going to make me look a lot better than I really am. So it's kind of a magician thing for me, but having those two guys, and Brian especially, is it's just a comfort feel.
Sure, that's all I got. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.